How with Tristan, how long can he? When does he need to be back? I guess to be in the mix. I guess for Purdue.
I mean, I think we'll find out in the next few days as we get into the weekend and we start prep for that game. We've kind of this scrimmage Saturday kind of let him rest a little bit, and then just kind of trying to bring him back a little bit slow, and I think let's kind of evaluate probably this weekend. As we get into the prep for Purdue.
If he's not able to practice Sunday or Tuesday, probably he's not going to be able to go.
Most likely. I mean, we want those guys to be able to, if you're going to start the game, you'd be able to take a bulk of the reps early in the week like that, in game prep. And I just think it's too early to tell right now. So we'll just we'll wait till through this weekend and see where he's at.
What's been your 3 weeks of assessment of Sam and how he's performed?
Neuer.
Yeah.
I think he's come along. I just think it's we would have loved to have had him in spring football. There was some similarities from when we were at Colorado as far as verbiage goes, but I think he's picking the offense up, and I mean you can see a little bit of his experience, as a starter show through in some of the situational stuff that we've been doing. So I've been pleased with his development. There's some things just with a lack of experience in the offense, that some mistakes that we've made in the last week that we hopefully can get cleaned up before we start getting into games.
Is that where some of the inaccuracy has come with Sam? Or someone throws us the playbook and knowing everybody what they do and all that? Or?
Yeah, I would say it's more mental stuff than it is physical. I think when he's he knows where he's going with the ball, and he's got to actually just kind of physically get it there. I think he hasn't really had any issues with that. I mean, it's just whether it's starting in the right spot for progression or understanding versus a certain coverage he needs to get this, or protection wise maybe he's hot, or there's some little intricacies there that he's just got to tighten up as we get closer to games.
Am I crazy to think that Chance could start against Purdue?
He's
been playing a lot with the ones.
Yeah, Chance has had. We've given him some opportunities in the last couple of days, and he's responded pretty good. He was able to close it out there in the 4-minute drill, and really earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday, gave him some drives with the ones, and we're really pleased. I mean, he moved the ball and made some plays, and I feel like he's improved a ton from where he was last fall. So I think it's a possibility, something we're considering for sure.
How's the running back group shaking out as far as what could be a potential depth chart there?
Yeah, I mean, the 3 guys that have kind of taken a bulk of the set with the ones is you got Trey Lowe, Deshaun, and then DJ Baylor. All 3 of those guys at times have flashed. I like Deshaun in some of those short yardage situations. His ability to get downhill and get his pads down has shown up. We've done some nice things protection-wise in the scrimmage. Trey Lowe, I think, a little bit shiftier. We've done some things, made some plays in the pass game out of the backfield, which has been really good to see. And then BJ, I felt like, has just been pretty consistent and has been in the offense now for, since we've gotten here, and knows what we're doing, and has looked really good at times. And I think we're just hoping that the consistency just continues day in and day out. So, I mean, I think you'll probably see all 3 throughout the course of the game. As far as who's going to start, and the bulk of it, I think, is, we get into seeing what we're going to do specifically against Purdue. We'll kind of tweak that a little bit to fit each one of their skill sets.
You kind of mentioned it there, but you feel like there's enough carries to go around to keep all those guys involved regularly?
Yeah, we like to run the ball, and I just think anytime you go in there and you have some things set up for each guy, and sometimes a guy gets hot, in the game, and you roll with them, and I think that'll be something, we'll be kind of leaning on Coach Stewart pretty heavily on as we go, just to get a feel for the guys and who he feels most comfortable with as we get into a game, and we'll see as we go through the first preseason or the opening games.
Do you feel like there's been a separation at the receiver position? Is there any couple guys that look like they're definitely going to be on the field a lot?
I thought Tyjon Lindsey's had a really good camp. Been really pleased with his growth. He's made a ton of plays. Made one there in the 2-minute drill at the end of the day. So really pleased with him. I think you'll see him, and The other guy, Trayvon Bradford, is a veteran guy that we feel really confident with. And as far as a route runner and being able to separate and go win in a critical one-on-one situation. And Zariah Beeson has flashed at times. I think he's still young and still has room, for a lot of growth. But those three kind of stand out to me. I think Champ Flemings is a guy that's in the mix. Ant Gold, in the mix as well. And I like our depth at that position. So that's something I think as we get into depth, game prep, we'll feel out a little bit. How much we're going to rotate them in.
Is there anyone among the receivers that has a unique skill or something that they do that will get them on the field, even though maybe they're not the best pass catcher or whatnot? Is there anyone of that group?
Silas Bolden is one that, and I think he's a pretty good receiver too. But his speed, he's run by some people and has done some nice things on just some short, bubble screens or perimeter screens in the run game, and turned some small passes or short passes into big gains. So he's one that kind of stands out to me as a guy that is a pretty dynamic player, and he's just talented with the ball in his hands. So I imagine that you'll see him in spurts.
Yeah.
There's a good chunk of guys that, as you mentioned, are young, but they do bring this kind of new element and talent to the offensive, progression of the field. Is there an advantage that there isn't much footage on some of these young guys and the transfers playing in your system? Does that make it easier for game planning?
Well,
maybe an advantage?
Yeah, that can be. Yeah, I think it can be a little bit. As people are looking at it, they don't know exactly where he's going to fit in the back, especially going into your first game. So I think that could be an advantage for you. And we've gotten a good look at those guys through spring and fall camp, and an idea of how they kind of fit what we're doing. So I think it's an advantage, going into game one.
And on the tight ends room, I feel like every day there's a different one of those guys kind of stands out and makes a great catch. The depth there, how important is that for you guys going forward, with Teagan kind of still being sidelined at the moment? Obviously, Luke has a lot of weight in his shoulders.
Yeah, it's a big part of our offense is to use those tight ends, and we feel good about the group. And Teagan, hopefully we're getting him back sooner than later. He's been doing a little bit out there, and we feel really good. Luke did a lot of good things out there today. But yeah, I think just continuing to build the depth. Jake Overman's a guy I think that has kind of stepped up in Teagan's absence, and Tommy Spencer. Those two, kind of off the top of my head, are guys that got to continue to develop as we get closer to game week here. Hopefully we get Teagan back.
How have you felt over the course of the 3 weeks in terms of receivers catching the ball? Has there been more drops, less drops, about the same as what you've had in other camps? Is it better or worse? I don't know. I feel like it's pretty typical. Each guy's kind of gone through their days, or a day here or there where they're dropping in a few. But I don't think there's anything that just kind of stands glaring, like anything that's been. Well, I just wondered if it was better, if the guys were catching more balls.
I think we've been a little bit more consistent. Yeah, I think guys, we've got a pretty veteran, feels like a pretty veteran group there. And I feel like those guys have been pretty solid. I mean, there's only been a handful of days where you maybe notice someone dropping a few.
Okay.